and welcome to the Panther News Network. Today is Monday, March 18th. I'm Jalen Spites.
And I'm Haley Spivey.
And here's what's going on today. 50 people were killed and 50 others wounded in a terror attack on two mosques in Christchurch, New Zealand, police announced Sunday. New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern described the carefully planned attack on Friday as one of her country's darkest days. She said that the suspects held extremist views that have no place in New Zealand or anywhere else in the world. The first and most deadly shooting took place just after 1:30 p.m. at an Al Noor mosque. A graphic video which streamed live on social media for about 17 minutes purports to show a portion of the attack. In it, a man is seen driving through the streets of Christchurch before arriving at the mosque and eventually opening fire. Shortly after the live stream ended, a second attack took place at Linwood Mosque. At least 7 people were killed there, and another died later at the hospital. Brenton Tarrant, 28 years old, has been charged with murder in connection to the unprecedented attack on the two mosques.
A survivor has told Sky News how he screamed at a Christchurch attacker as he tried to lead the gunman away from a mosque where several people had been killed. Abdul Aziz, 48, said he heard gunshots during Friday prayers and left his family, including his 4 children, inside the Linwood Islamic Center as he ran outside to confront the terrorists in a car park. He said his children were saying, "Please come inside." I told them, "You guys go inside, I will be all right." He said in an interview with Sky News, he bravely carried on and picked up a credit card reader off the table to use as a weapon before seeing the bodies of 2 people in a nearby pathway. Mr. Aziz spotted the attacker as he was heading towards his car to get a hold of another gun. And as he did so, the worshiper hurled the machine at him. The killer then got his new gun and started shooting at Mr. Aziz about 4 or 5 times, but he was able to duck between cars. It was that moment that Mr. Aziz picked up a shotgun which had been abandoned by the killer and chased him. As the attacker returned to his car for the second time to get another weapon, 7 people died at the Linwood Islamic Center. The second of 2 mosques targeted by the attacker in the New Zealand city. Mr. Aziz said, "I was screaming to the guy, 'Come on, come, I'm here.' I tried to put his focus on me. I didn't want him to go inside the mosque." He added, "I had the shotgun in my hand. Then I saw him drop the gun and he ran and I chased him. But the shotgun Mr. Aziz had picked up was empty." So when the attacker got in his car, Mr. Aziz said he threw the weapon like an arrow, shattering the car window. It bust his window, and that way he got shot. Mr. Aziz said the gunman swore at him and took off before he chased the killer down the street. The attacker then managed to run away when the nearby traffic light turned red. Mr. Aziz then returned to the mosque where he found a lot of his friends had been injured. He has now been held a hero for confronting the gunman. And we'll be back with more local and PV news after the commercial break.
The Prairie View A&M Naval ROTC program was established in March of 1968. So at that time, during the Vietnam War, it was compulsory to be involved in a military program. So Dr. A.I. Thomas, the president of the university, was interested in establishing a naval ROTC unit to complement the Army ROTC unit that was already on campus. Interestingly, at the same time, the Navy was interested in expanding the diversity of the Navy and Marine Corps, and particularly the Officer Corps. And so it was a natural fit, and Prairie View A&M in March of 1968 became the very first Naval ROTC unit established at a historically black college or university here at Prairie View A&M.
Prairie View A&M University has always been somewhat of at the point on the frontiers of change. And the Naval ROTC program was again one of those programs that was implemented to keep us out on the point. They knew that they being Dr. Avenai Thomas and others knew that the Navy was a front runner and was pretty much an elite operation. And by allowing students from Prairie View to become a part of that would make us world-class leaders. And so the program was designed to take country boys like myself and expose them to a different world, a different set of values and rules and regulations, and we adapted. It changed. It was a game changer for us.
Me personally, I can honestly say that I wouldn't be here without this program. I'm from a small country town in Arkansas with about 10,000 people. This gave me an opportunity to get outside of my comfort zone. Being 40 minutes from Houston, I never thought I would see myself here. I always knew that I would be on a college campus somewhere, but I never thought or even dreamed that I would be in the United States military, particularly the naval service. This has given me a platform to be able to reach back and be a provider amongst my family. I also got to travel and see tons of the world, which is something that a lot of people, they really enjoy.
My job as a professor of naval science is to develop young men and women mentally, morally, and physically as they get ready to commission into the United States Navy and the United States Navy. Here at Prairie View, what makes it special is our midshipmen. And so you think about a unit that now is 50 years old, that has produced over 400 young officers into the Navy and Marine Corps, and to date 3 flag officers, which is a remarkable accomplishment. So Vice Admiral David Brewer III, Rear Admiral Kelvin Dixon, and Rear Admiral O.C. Combs Jr. Tremendous accomplishment to have 3 flag officers from a unit that early.
So what makes this program unique is that we are the first HBCU to establish an ROTC. And with that, I feel that we have a lot of shoes to fill. With those 3 flag officers, I feel that there could be more. And with our diversity growing, I think that we can accomplish that.
It helped to mold officers and we used to say gentlemen, but gentle women and officers. It helped to mold us. It gave us, again, skills that we didn't really know about.
The product that Prairie View has been able to generate over the past few years since I've graduated and even before then has completely changed the dynamic of what we're producing for the fleet. Whenever you go somewhere now, your first ship, like myself, when I reported on board the USS Vandergrift, my weapons officer was a Prairie View graduate. So it's pretty nice to know that they're turning out products that are actually staying in to pursue their military career.
And I've met so many amazing people that want the same goal as me, and with that I feel it just makes me want to be better as a person and hopefully bring that out of the Navy later in the future.
And I can't say what the next 50 years will hold when you think about modern warfare or what will be needed from a military service. But I do know that if we remain committed to ensuring that our midshipmen are able to think critically, to function as a team, to build individual resilience, to take the enormous amount of data that's available to them today and be able to sort through to get to what matters, to be able to problem solve in a complex and ambiguous world, that our Navy and Marine Corps is going to be in great shape over the next 50 years and beyond.
Welcome back. Police in the Seaside, California city have been alerted local schools to 2 virtual kidnaps cases in 24 hours. Laguna Beach police say victims received phone calls claiming their daughters had been kidnapped and would be harmed unless money was wired to a Mexican bank account. The Orange County Register reported Saturday. There were no abductions in either cases, according to police. Authorities in the community about 57 miles south of Los Angeles say they have contacted the Laguna Beach Unified School Districts as well as local private schools to warn parents of the scam. Authorities say residents made separate reports March 7th and 8th that they were the victims of the fake kidnapping threats. All of them want money transferred to an account in Mexico, and they are directing victims outside of the city to withdraw money. Laguna Police Sergeant Jim Cota said, Police said a man wired $5,000 before learning his daughter was safe. At about 6:30 p.m., as the victim was completing the last transaction, he received a call from his daughter, who was fine in Laguna Beach. Coda said, in the case of on March the 8th, the victim was told that his daughter had been taken while attending college in Chicago. Once the mother pulled out the money, she called the police department. Coda said police officers stopped her on her way out of town and were able to stop the transaction of money. Both of the cases were referred to the FBI on March the 13th.
Some residents in the Houston area are being urged to find a safe location indoors after a fire broke out at a petrochemicals terminal. The fire started Sunday at Intercontinental Terminals Company in Deer Park, about 15 miles southeast of Houston. Deer Park officials issued a shelter-in-place directive after the fire was reported. Harris County officials say the fire started about 10 a.m. at the terminal that stores petrochemical liquids and gases, including fuel oil and bunker oil. The company's website says the terminal has a storage capacity of 13.1 million barrels. The fire is the second in as many days at a Houston area petrochemical facility. A fire at an ExxonMobil plant in nearby Baytown that broke out Saturday afternoon has been contained. Company officials say no injuries were reported.
Police are searching for answers after shots were fired at a club in Dallas Saturday morning. According to the Dallas police, officers was dispatched to 11,000 block of Haskell Avenue for an active shooter called at a Lenar's bar at 11:47 a.m. When they arrived, they met with witnesses who told police that a man was outside of the club with a weapon and fired several rounds. He then re-entered the club where witnesses believe there were still more patrons inside. Dallas police called SWAT to assist the attempted to contact with the alleged suspects. At 1:30 p.m., SWAT made entry into the club and found no one inside. Investigators then received a call from a nearby hospital that the gunshot wounds, a victim had gunshot wounds. It is unknown whether or not the victim was involved in the incident at the time. The investigation is ongoing.
The Prairie View A&M Panthers basketball team are returning to the NCAA tournament for the first time since 1998, over 20 years ago. Less than 24 hours after claiming the SWAC championship in Birmingham, PVAMU learned of its next opponent. The Panthers were awarded a number 16 seed by the committee and will face Fairleigh Dickinson in the first four from Dayton, Ohio. The game will be played on Tuesday at 6:40 p.m. Eastern, so be sure to tune in and support our Panthers. And we'll be back with more news after this commercial break.
Traditions are not made overnight. They are created through a legacy of excellence and a commitment to something much greater. For more than 135 years, Prairie View A&M University has provided students with a strong academic foundation, a unique college experience, and the opportunity to make their mark on the world. This is a place where friendships are formed, discoveries are made, and dreams are realized. This is Prairie View A&M University. Our tradition, your opportunity.
Welcome back, and for today's weather, expect mild temperatures with a low of 50 degrees and a high of 70.
Today is National Awkward Moments Day, and don't forget to celebrate your awkward moment.
Now, I don't want to be awkward on our show. What about you, Haley?
I don't really like awkward moments, but we can celebrate
If you're an awkward person, celebrate yourself today. And thank you guys so much for tuning in today. I'm Jalen Spites.
And I'm Haley Spivey.
And we'll see you guys on Wednesday.